The sun rose slow over Eden Ridge, casting gold through dust like God himself hadn't made up his mind whether to bless or bury the town. Wind curled lazy through dry grass and skirts, brushing against wooden storefronts worn by wind and waiting. Men spat and leaned on rails, chewing the same tobacco and talking the same talk they always did come auction morning. Livestock mostly, and sometimes people. It wasn't official, but everyone knew. The poor and unwanted got sold just as often as the cattle. A girl with honey-colored hair clutched her little sister's hand. Both were barefoot, dresses patched in more places than not. They stood too still for their age. The older one, about 9, had a jaw set like she'd watched too much already. The younger, around 6, kept whispering mama into the sleeve of the older one's dress, though their mama was only a step behind, kneeling in the dust, whispering back so softly even the wind couldn't hear. Amaryllis Dunn had been beautiful once, though no mirror had told her that lately. Her face was soft still, high-cheeked and framed with the kind of hair that tangled easy in the breeze, dark, long, with streaks of early silver. Her shoulders drooped, but her back did not bow. Grief had worked its etching across her body, but not through it. She'd survived winters thinner than paper, hunger thicker than snow, and the kind of shame that leaves a woman hollow. She didn't look up now, didn't dare. Her hands pressed against the dusty hem of her dress, like she was trying to keep herself from vanishing. To her right stood the man who'd brought her here, Silas Dunn, her dead husband's brother, a man who wore bitterness like other men wore hats, daily and with crooked pride. His face was sharp and red from drink, lips curled into the permanent sneer of someone who needed others small to feel tall. "This the only way," he muttered, loud enough for the crowd. "Ain't my fault their daddy left nothin' but debts and a cow too starved to milk. She got no claim to the land. These girls are mouths with no means. Better someone else feeds them." The auctioneer looked uneasy. Men shifted on their heels. One woman, a seamstress named Mrs. Merriweather, held her purse tight to her chest, whispering a prayer behind chapped lips. The crowd wasn't cruel. But they were tired. Tired folks don't always rise to mercy. A few paces away, near the post rail where the stock was usually tethered, stood a man with a shadow broader than the horse he leaned against. His shirt was rolled at the sleeves, forearms marked by sun and scars, and his hat dipped low as if the world didn't deserve his eyes just yet. James Calder hadn't spoken to a soul in town in over a year. Some said he went silent after his wife walked into the river one February morning, leaving behind a crib too quiet to bear. Others said he just preferred cattle to people. Whatever the truth, he rarely came down from the hills, except on auction day. Never bid. Just watched. As if remembering something lost. Today, though, he watched different. The younger girl began to cry in earnest now. Fists pressed to her eyes like that might erase the sight of the crude wooden platform ahead. Amaryllis bent to hush her, voice caught somewhere between lullaby and prayer. "It's all right, baby bird," she whispered. "Just hush now. It won't be long." The older one, Lark, took her sister's hand tighter. Her chin lifted. Her eyes scanned the crowd like she dared someone to laugh. Silas nudged Amaryllis hard. "Get her up there. Time don't wait." Amaryllis rose slow. She didn't argue. Didn't plead. She gathered Lark with one arm and led her to the platform. Lark climbed without protest. Her small feet found the boards. She turned and looked back, at her mama, not the crowd. The auctioneer cleared his throat. Strong girl. Good age for house help. Bright eyes, quiet disposition. Startin' at $5. A moment passed. Then a voice from the back, greasy, nasal, offered 5. Another man, paunchy and cruel-eyed, raised to 10. Lark's shoulders drew tight. Her face pinched but held. James Calder exhaled through his nose. His hand left the rail. His boots moved forward slow, dust curling like ghosts around each step. 15, someone said. 16, came another voice, low and eager. Junie began to wail. Her mother's arms wrapped around her, but her hands were trembling. The bidding paused. Then silence. Because James Calder stepped past them all. No one had heard his footsteps. No one had ever heard him speak. He reached the edge of the auction ring, then stepped into the circle without a word. People shifted like corn parting for a scythe. He removed his hat and placed it gently over his heart. Then, without so much as looking toward the auctioneer or Silas, he crouched and laid a single, folded dollar bill into the dust. Then he raised his eyes, weathered, sea-gray, slow like thunderclouds rolling. "I'll take you both." The crowd froze. Not a bird, not a breath moved. Silas barked, "You can't just. That ain't even." James didn't blink. His voice was quiet, the kind men lean in to hear, not because it's soft, but because it carries a weight beyond loudness. "I ain't buying cattle. I'm offering shelter. Food. Safety. You want them fed or not?" The sheriff, an old man with rheumy eyes and a gut full of dust, stepped forward. "Ain't no law says he can't take 'em in. Especially if she's willin'." He looked at Amaryllis. Her eyes were already wet. Her knees threatened to fold. But she held on to Junie like the girl was the last thing she'd ever own. James walked toward her. Every step was deliberate, like he was approaching a wounded horse that might bolt. He knelt, lowered his eyes. "I got a place," he said. "Plenty for 3. Ain't much, but it's quiet. Safe. You can come too. I won't ask for nothin' but your trust. And maybe a little patience. I don't talk much." Amaryllis stared. She looked past him, over the faces still watching, over Silas's snarling disbelief. And then she nodded once. Slow. Like a tree bending just slightly in wind. James stood and lifted Junie into his arms. She wrapped around him like a vine on an old oak. Amaryllis rose and took Lark's hand. She did not look back. Silas shouted. Words like thief and madness and whore spat into the air. No one answered. Not the sheriff. Not the townsfolk. Not the mother, nor the girls. And certainly not the rancher with dust on his boots, and a child asleep on his shoulder. They walked out of Eden Ridge as the sun finished climbing over the ridge. Later that night, in a cabin lit by fire and peace, Junie would laugh for the first time in weeks. And weeks after that, under the cottonwoods in a clearing near the stream, James Calder and Amaryllis Dunn would marry in silence. No crowd. No preacher. Just 2 hands, weathered by storm and time, finding each other. And holding on. Forever.